I'll tell you something. In Nigeria, your land assets is good in terms of hedging against the risk of inflation, which right now is about 30%. However, it doesn't hedge against any other risk. You're also losing money. So if you have need for it to use it as proof of fund, you might want to explore that option. I can guarantee that with time, you will buy better assets. Hi everyone, hi lovelies, hi people. So I'm excited to be back here, very, very much excited. So at every point in your immigration journey, if you are on this journey or if you're an immigrant, you never stop being an immigrant. Even when you become a citizen, you're still an immigrant. So yeah, so at every point in your journey of immigration, there's always going to be the aspect of money. I'm a Christian, so I really pick a lot of my lessons from the Bible. And there's a part of the book of Proverbs that said, who builds a house without counting the cost, right? So if you're going to embark on this journey, you definitely want to check how much it's going to cost you to know where you are and how you're going to bridge the gap if there is a gap. I'll be, putting snippets about my own experience, as in how we put money together and all that. Let me tell you something. When we started this journey, the exchange rate was lower. I think it was like a dollar to about 360 naira. Even at that, it seemed like, oh my God, how do we surmount this? So if you're listening to me and the exchange rate is crazy, I want to assure you, yes, that's the word, that you can do it if you set your mind to it. I believe in something, that when you set your mind at something, I believe that God and the universe will open up and push all those things you need to come to you. Take bite size of your goals. Now, one of the first things I'll tell you is that if you earn in a currency that has a lower exchange rate than the dollar, the Canadian dollar, I'd advise you to convert that money to US dollars, or a higher currency that is a lot more stable. And for me, again, we converted everything that we had at that time. So fluctuations in exchange rates didn't affect us when we're coming. So even the proof of fund we submitted in USD, and of course they accepted. It doesn't have to be in your country's currency. It can be in any country's currency. They will just do the conversion. Now, people also can explore things like looking at their assets. If you're someone who has gathered assets over the years, no matter how small, some things that you don't consider as an asset, they're actually assets to you. When I was leaving Nigeria and I was packing up my things, that's when I realized the amount of property I had in my clothes, my own personal clothes, not my children, my own. I don't know if I regret giving them out, and I'm being honest here. I don't know if I regret giving them out, or I should have done like a garage sale and sold some of those dresses, those work dresses now that you buy, them brands. You buy them and all of a sudden you have to give them out. Those last days we were living, when I was giving those dresses out, he said, Jennifer, if you had sold those dresses for 5,000 naira, do you know how much you would have raised? By the time I calculated it, I was like, hi, I should have done this garage sale as my own farewell, from Nigeria. But anyway, I gave them out. I'm not saying sell your clothes now, you haven't gotten your visa, but I'm saying search within your house and look for things that you don't need, that somebody else needs. Sometimes it's an old microwave. Sometimes it's just something you've never used. You don't have need of it. Give it out. I don't need for free. Sell it at a reasonable price and start gathering your money. It's a form of declutter for bucks, declutter for money. I have a friend who also came here and sold a bit of the jewelry she had. I grew up in the north, as you know, so buying jewelry, buying gold, it comes natural to us. So she sold a bit of the gold that she had and raised some money, for her proof of fund. You can explore those things. You'll be surprised what you can raise in your house. Don't just look at your bank account. Look at what you have. Small things, things you call property. It could be landed assets, it could be anything. Yes, sell the assets. I'll tell you something. In Nigeria, your land assets is good in terms of hedging against the risk of inflation, which right now is about 30%. However, it doesn't hedge against any other risk. You're also losing money. So if you have need for it to use it as proof of fund, you might want to explore that option. I can guarantee that with time, you will buy better assets. You can also explore the support of family and friends. Canada, IRCC rather, allows for something called a deed of gift, meaning that if your parents are well-to-do or some family member is well-to-do and is generous enough to give you something, but parents most especially, they can give you a deed of gift. And don't undermine your parents. So you can tax them. You'll be shocked what they have. They have one land like that. Yes, they would have given you when they go to heaven. They can give you now. So if they have it, you can share your dream with them. You'll be surprised. I believe so much in God, so I believe in praying about it. Those resources will just find you. Well, me personally, I even got support from family. I tasked my younger sister. She gave me, some days to my trip. I said, just in case, you know, and she did. So I encourage you as well. If you'll be surprised what your family members, if you have that kind, I'm privileged to have that kind of family member. The only one I cannot say on earth that you can do is borrow money from the bank or something. RCC does not accept loans as proof of fund, and it just makes sense because we're looking at your net worth here. So it's assets minus liability to give us what you really are. You also may want to explore increasing your income. I don't know how you will do that, but that's another way to make money. We took the bold step of putting our kids from the schools that they attended to a school close to our neighborhood. It was still a relatively good school, but it was a lot cheaper than what we were paying in town in Abuja. Don't be emotionally attached to anything that will help you reduce your cost or earn more money. Don't be emotionally attached to it. Let the figures speak. Do the math and say this plus this plus this does not make this. We have to remove this and remove this and remove this. Please, I need to make this note. If you're also saving your money, you want to put them in high yield accounts, not the normal savings account. In Nigeria they pay you like 4%. I don't know how much they pay today. So please, you look at those options as well, you know, so you don't put money, inflation is eroding it and stuff. So that could probably be something you want to consider. Don't put in normal savings account, put in an account that you can earn some interest, at least to hedge against the rising rate of inflation. There's one more expense that is significant I cannot ignore. I almost stopped shooting the video and remember that I didn't mention it. Is the cost of your air tickets. That is crazy now. It is crazy. For my family of 5, in 2023, we paid 2.6 million approximately. We came via Qatar Airways, right? And we paid about that. The prices I'm hearing now, my heart goes out to everybody who's planning to come. But the most important part is to get the visa first. When you get there, you see that your visa is coming, start thinking of your tickets. It's not in your proof of fund. You can't take it out of your proof of fund. Because that proof of fund, when you get to the airport, you can be asked for it to prove that you got it or you brought it. There are videos on the internet about people who got to Canada and were turned back because they didn't bring their proof of fund. So let's talk a bit about this flight ticket. When we're coming and we opted to take Qatar Airways, it wasn't like we didn't see that there was KLM that could drop us somewhere or there was another airline. You know, it was a low-cost flight we were looking for because, again, it was not a vacation. I find that people will even pay expensive airlines and crazy amounts for air tickets to come to Canada because they want to be comfortable. I have no problem with comfort. This is my advice. Suspend comfort because you want to snap picture. Yes. And fly a good airline that is cost effective. Qatar gave us all that. The only snag with Qatar was that we had a long layover. I think we were in Doha for about 8 hours. Yes, and those 8 hours, my kids coped. They loved it. They were just excited. It was, you know, a like field trip for them. So while you're concerned about your kids, also think about your pockets. Look for the low-cost flights. It will be almost as if you're looking for another proof of fund. So be wise about it. Buy your tickets on time. Don't travel at the time of the year where tickets are high. We came early in the year. Nobody's traveling to Canada for vacation in January or February because it's extremely cold at that time. If you're coming during the summer, your tickets will be expensive. You're coming probably around towards Christmas or a celebration, it will be expensive, but worse during the summer. So you might want to buy your tickets on time, even if you're coming during summer. So if you're a student and you're coming to Canada in September, you might want to buy your ticket as early as January. You want to buy it as early as February. Remember, when it comes to money, you're a custodian. This is my belief. You're a custodian of your money. You don't have to waste it. Since that's the cost. Again, who builds a house without counting the cost? This is the cost involved. Now you have this, it's time to start making plans. So thank you. I think we've come to the end of today's episode. The next episode we're going to be talking about is the next thing. Now you have entered the plane. They've served you all the nice food and you have landed Canada. What is the cost of your landing? You also need to know that. So I'll share the cost. That also helps us make decisions in terms of the apartment to live. Are we going to buy a car? How are we going to buy a car? And all that. I'll also start sharing my tips about how the Canadian credit system works and financing and my stance on those kind of issues. So see you on our very next episode. I'm excited about this and I'm sure that you'll learn one or two things from my experience. Bye.